And welcome back to the Upside Sports Network. My name is Michael. Appreciate you guys joining us once again for some Major League Baseball. Final week of the season is here. Saw a good one last night between the Rangers and Angels. Angels are severely out of the playoff race, of course, but the Rangers are trying to chase down that AL West crown. We're about to get underway. It's going to be Reed Detmers against Bradford for the Rangers. Let's get to it. Just about to see first pitch right now. Reed Detmers is on the mound. Starter for the Angels today at 70-87 on the year. Marcus Semien, first pitch swinging, hits it hard. Deep left field, going back on it. Bounces just in front of the wall, but this will go for a double here as Marcus Semien jumps on the first pitch of the game. And we already have a runner in scoring position for Texas today. That's the one thing the Rangers have really not done over the last couple of days is get runners on base in front of guys that are actually hitting home runs. You might have been paying attention to the Rangers over the last couple of days specifically is that they've tied a franchise record 10 home runs in the last 2 games. The thing with that is 13 of their 14 runs have been scored off of the home run in that. What does that tell you? That it's a whole bunch of solo home runs. They're not getting anybody on base. That's the one issue I have with the offensive resurgence that they've had. The home runs are masking some of their on-base issues over the last couple of days. So, if they hit it over the fence, I suppose that's one way to get there. But I think more consistent at bats, getting on base in front of those guys is what's needed here. Seager kind of dribbles one out to third base, unable to make the play on it. Is the third baseman there, and Seager is on. Runners will now be at the corners. Stefanik made a nice try to get it, but just unable to get there in time. Kind of a cue shot off the end of the bat. Not many times Corey Seager's going to have that happen. But either way, it is now first and third. Robbie Grossman is up next. He is getting the start in left field once again. 3 pitches in, 2 base hits for the Rangers. So maybe this will be something good. Breaking for the Rangers as far as getting on base in front of those home run hitters. Robbie Grossman, .241 average, 10 home runs on the year. This one's grounded to third. Stefanik makes a strong throw to second, on to first, gets the double play, but Marcus Semien does score. Rangers are on the board early, 1-0 over the Angels. Now, that was a lot of action there in just the last, minute and a half, 2 minutes. Right off the bat, we've already got a run in, couple of outs. 1 hard hit ball, 1 cue shot, and then a good defensive play by the Angels to get the double play on Grossman there. It'll be up to Josh Young to continue the inning for the Rangers. Welcome back, Hank. Blue Jays lose. Okay. I haven't checked on the out-of-town scoreboard as of yet. Told you guys last night we were going to do the Houston game versus Seattle, but been a long day at work, and I needed to have some fun with you guys, so wanted to get to the Rangers again. We'll still check in quite a bit on the Astros and Seattle game, a little bit more than we did last night. Magic number for the Rangers right now to win the AL West is 4. So a win today and a loss by the Astros would cut that number down to 2. So we shall see. 2-1 count now to Josh Young. Seems to have changed his his stance just a hair since his injury. That one misses high, 3-1 now. If you guys are new here, make sure to say hello. Welcome back, Jesus. Hopefully you guys had a better day at work than I did. But that's why we're back at it again, having some fun with you guys here. Young waited for that one to be called a ball, and it is. It's going to be a 2-out walk here by Detmers to Josh Young. Would like to see him work a little bit more on that, staying patient at the plate, not jumping on the first pitch he sees. Now, if it's in his, red zone or whatever you want to call it, but then swing at it absolutely. But he's been swinging at a lot of borderline pitches, not waiting for his pitch lately. And when he's getting on base and it's working successfully, great. But it's not a long-term recipe for success. I'd like to see him be just a little bit more patient than, say, a guy like Corey Seager. Adolis Garcia takes strike one there. 245 average, 37 home runs, 104 RBIs. Career highs there. High fly ball. Shallow center. Coming in is Adele and making the catch for the third out of the inning. But the Rangers get on the board. It's 1-0 Texas over the Angels. Now, as I said, we'll be checking in quite a bit with that Houston and Seattle game today anyway. That one should be a good one. It's going to be Javier versus, I want to say Kirby is getting the start for the Mariners, but the Mariners absolutely need to start winning some games. They're going to start falling behind in that wild card a little too far for them to be able to make up ground if they continue to lose against the Astros here. And then they're going to have to win against the Rangers when that series begins later this week. But they've got their work cut out for them. For the Astros, I don't think they really mind if they're the wild card or if they win the division. So I think they understand it's an uphill battle to try to win the division at this point. I think they'd be very happy just to get in as a wild card at this point. But they have a really good lineup that I'm really, have no concerns if I'm an Astros fan about that lineup being able to produce on the road. Same thing with my pitching staff. Now that Justin Verlander's there, I'm a lot more comfortable than I would have been beforehand. But Framber Valdez is your 1, Verlander's your 2, Javier, I guess, is your 3. And then you have some good depth as far as, starters that you can bring in that wild card round. Because remember, all 3 of those games will be on the road for the Astros if they do get that wild card spot. So we shall see what happens. Check in on that the standings right now as we sit today. We'll go with the wild card standings first. Of course, your division leaders, Baltimore, Texas, and Minnesota. Tampa's, of course, already locked in as one of the wild card teams. They'll probably, I think they've pretty much locked in that top wild card spot already. They will host that wild card round. Toronto right now sits a game and a half above the Houston Astros. Meanwhile, Seattle is a game and a half back of that final wild card spot. If they were to pull off the victory tonight and tomorrow, Houston would be outside of the playoff picture looking in. And then it would really come down to what happens in that Rangers versus Seattle series. Do the Rangers say, hey, we would rather have Houston be out of the playoffs completely and just let Seattle, win it right or straight out? But I don't think that's the route they'll go. I think they're going to try to maximize on this momentum that they have and just let this kind of wash over them into the playoffs. So we shall see. Bradford's first pitch to Grichuk, the leadoff hitter today, is strike one there. With Heaney having to come into the game last night, it was doubtful he was going to be much of a factor in the game, if at all, tonight. I think Heaney's probably going to be used as the long man tomorrow. I think he's untouchable in this one after pitching, I believe, in back-to-back days now. But Bradford gets the start. I'm guessing Martin Perez is the guy locked in there as the long man today, should Bradford get into trouble. 1-2 count now on Grichuk, hitting .271. But Bradford had some good success earlier this year. They haven't really called on him as of late anyway. But if they can get, say, 4-5 quality innings out of him, I think the Rangers would be happy with that type of performance. If they get more than that, they would be over the moon thrilled with that. But leadoff base hit here by Grichuk into right. So far this season, 50 innings pitched for Bradford, 4-2 in 18 games, 7 starts for the Rangers. This year, he's been used as a little bit of as kind of a late inning mop-up guy lately. But first start in about a month now for Bradford. Only had a couple of starts anyway in the last month, but we'll see how he performs today. That one misses inside. I'm guessing his location's probably going to be a little spotty with how sparse they have used him. But they're just trying to get some innings out of him here to get them around to the next time through this rotation. You're looking Dunning, Montgomery, and Eovaldi as your 1, 2, 3 when you get into the playoffs. They're hoping John Gray is healthy. They've gotten the MRI done. They're still waiting on results from the MRI as far as getting a hold of the physician, contacting consultants, all those kinds of things. But as soon as we hear anything about John Gray's status, we will let you guys know. Apparently, the injury that he left with yesterday was a wrist injury. Hard hit ball into left field. Another base hit. Both teams starting off hot here. Back-to-back base hits now for the Angels. Neto gets on. Now runners are on first and second. Rangers defense is Grossman out in left, Tavares in center, Garcia in right. Young is, of course, at third, Seager at short, Simeon at second. Lowe is at first base, and Jonah Heim once again does the catching. A little bit surprised they're not going with somebody else at catcher right now, considering where the Rangers are at. I thought they might go with a guy like Austin Hedges back there just to give Heim some day off of his feet, but especially with an inexperienced pitcher there, maybe get more of a defensive backstop in there. Even though Jonah Heim is still a pretty darn good defensive backstop, I thought Austin Hedges would be perfect guy for this type of situation. And maybe let Heim come off the bench late for a late at bat or something like that. But we shall see. Bruce Bochy has kind of massaged this team, how he sees fit. Drury absolutely crushes this ball deep left field, and that one is gone. A 3-run home run right off the bat for the Angels, and they lead it now 3-1 over the Rangers. So much for that early 1-0 lead for Texas. That's very quickly erased there. Just a mistake in location. And 3 batters in, 3 base hits. I imagine we'll see Mike Maddox come out here in a minute just to kind of settle down the young pitcher. Middle fastball by the looks of it. Okay, it was down and in, but it was right in the wheelhouse. Right in his swing path. Just absolutely right on the barrel. Nice approach there by Drury, but still, you got to be able to get some softer contact than that if you're Bradford coming into this one. You want to get through this game. You want to be able to get through at least 3 or 4 innings, hopefully 5 or 6, but they're hoping for more than just 1 out of you at this point. Now 1-1 to Logan O'Hoppe. 4th place hitter, had a home run last night for the Angels, hitting .228 now on the season. Missed significant portion of the season for them. You'd have to think if this team had O'Hoppe behind the plate for the majority of the season, they'd be looking at a much different spot in the standings, even with Shohei Ohtani. His handling of the pitching staff, his ability to add another bat to this lineup was invaluable for them early in the year, and it just wasn't the same after he wasn't in the lineup every day. The 1-2 pitch swung on and missed. There's the first out of the inning for Bradford. Gets the strikeout after giving up that 3-run home run to Brandon Drury to get things started here for the Angels half of the first. Missed location, but got the chase anyway. The lefty set and the pitch. Well inside, 1-0. He's not very crisp with his location so far early, which is, again, what we expected with him not being used very much in September. But hoping to get at least 4 or 5 innings, they'd have to think, like I said. The Rangers really are kind of have a mash unit right now as their starting rotation. You look at Dane Dunning, who started the year with the thought process of coming in as the AAA ace, if you will. And then Jake Odorizzi went down due to injury, out for the season before training camp spring training really got underway. And so maybe a long relief role is the thinking coming into the season. Cole Raggins was pushing him at that point for a starting rotation spot. Then, of course, you have Jacob deGrom. They're partnering him with Jacob deGrom just in case he goes down to injury in his start, and they can have a long guy out of the bullpen on the days Jacob deGrom would start. That's how the season started for Dane Dunning. And instead, the Rangers have really relied on him. Most innings pitched by the Rangers, by any Ranger so far this year. That kind of tells you both how good he's been and how flexible he's had to be with the situations as far as injury, poor performance, regression from Perez and Heaney, Gray as of late as well. Scherzer's injury, deGrom's injury, and he's been really flexible for them. Jesus Kershaw from the Dodgers, do you think he'll become a Ranger next year? 2 off seasons in a row, that's been a headline that's been out there. Either he goes back to the Dodgers, he goes to Texas, or he retires. Do I think he goes back to the Dodgers? I think if he plays next year, it will be as a member of the LA Dodgers. I think the Rangers would be foolhardy to try to chase that pipe dream once again. I think they should go after guys that are already on the roster, like Jordan Montgomery, to try to re-sign him. He's been one of the most consistent Ranger starters since he's been brought over. You also have to look at what other options they have in that starting rotation. They have a lot of pieces that are going to be there. I think they should go after Martin Perez once again, even though he struggled early this season. He's been back to the same old Martin Perez we saw last year, and I'm expecting him to be in that starting rotation next year for the Rangers. I'm guessing probably a 2-year, $25-30 million deal gets it done for Martin. He loves it in Texas. Got married recently, about a year ago in Texas. He's basically been a part of the Rangers organization for the vast majority of his own professional life. I think he's very comfortable here. If the Rangers put down a representative offer, I think he'd be very happy to take it. 2 years, 25, 2 years, 30, I think would be enough to get it done. You look at the money they handed out to Andrew Heaney, to John Gray over the last couple of years, Nathan Eovaldi. That kind of fits in that timeline. Now you also look at all the other starting pitchers that are out there. A guy like Shohei Ohtani is not going to be a starter next year, but you're looking at 2025 when he could be in that rotation with DeGrom. You also have some of the younger starters down at AA and AAA, and Jack Leiter, Owen White, that could be up at that point, Brock Porter, Kumar Rocker, etc. They've got some options for 24 and 25, but to answer your question about Kershaw, I don't think it's very likely, and I don't think the Rangers should be counting on it. I would be looking first and foremost to Jordan Montgomery, Martin Perez, and then I'd look to other starters that might be available this offseason. Ground ball to third, the throw to first by Young. Nice throw, gets Escobar there. 2 strikeouts by Bradford and a ground out to third. Kind of wraps up that one, but a 3-run home run by Brandon Drury gets the scoring started for the Angels. 3-1 Angels as we go to the top of the second inning. Just to kind of refresh where the standings are at right now. We talked a little bit about Houston and where they're at. They're a game and a half above Seattle. Houston really needs to get at least one more victory, I believe, against Seattle, and then they can kind of coast, in my opinion. You look at where things stand. I think they would be really happy to go to Minnesota and take that last wild card spot. I think the tougher competition would be in Tampa Bay, but I do think Houston would be the superior team in either one of those series. As far as Toronto, I think they're going to be a wild card team. I don't think they're going to fall out of the picture. So it really comes down to, is Seattle going to be able to win enough games against their own division in Houston and Texas to be able to get the job done? They're at home. The ball's in their court, honestly. If Seattle wants to get into the postseason, it's literally in their power to do so. All they have to do is just start winning some games. And Houston just came off of the series where they got swept at home by Kansas City. They've actually struggled more at home than what people might think. They actually have a losing record this year at home. But I do think Houston does have a far superior team than the Mariners. Welcome in, David. Welcome back. Go Angels, Astros fan here. Okay. I know we got a lot of Rangers fans with us. Got some Angels fans with us who joined us last night. Got a few Astros fans. Got some Blue Jays fans as well. But playoff baseball is right around the corner. Got to position yourself both with your rotation. Make sure everybody's healthy going into the postseason. Looks like the Yankees beat the Blue Jays today 2-0. So that was good news there for Seattle. If they do hope to win one of those final wild card spots, they're trying to chase down Houston or Toronto. I really don't think they'll be able to catch Toronto at this point. Magic number for Seattle to be eliminated from playoff contention is 5. So any combination of wins or losses by Houston would get it done for them to be able to, end their season essentially. Mitch Garver digs in, 6th place hitter for the Rangers right now, as they show the waterfall out in center field for the Angels. Very nice ballpark there. Got 20 of you guys with us right now. Appreciate it. Make sure you drop a hello in the chat. Hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. Posted a few videos out there today about the NFL, catching you guys up on what's coming up with the Chiefs and the Jets this week. Jets just signed Trevor Siemian to their practice squad. Again, they're not happy with their quarterback room now that Aaron Rodgers is out for at least the regular season. I agree, Hank. I always liked it too. 3-0 now to Mitch Garver. The pitch. Outside, and that's ball 4. Nathaniel Lowe moved up a little bit in the lineup today. Or no, he's in 7, sorry. Thought he was in 8th for a second. Jonah Heim is hitting 8th today, followed by Leody Taveras. Lowe hitting 267, 17 home runs. Hit a laser of a home run into right center. Or I should say out to right anyway, into the bullpen. 787 OPS on the season. The 0-1 pitch, fouled down the third base line, out of play. 0-2. Go Seattle. Well, if you're a Ranger fan, I think you're happy with however things go in Seattle, honestly. I think if you had to pick between the two, I think we'd ever all agree Houston's probably the better team between the two. I didn't think Seattle would get this far along here in the postseason or into the wild card race. I thought they would have bowed out probably a couple weeks ago. But good on them for being able to stay in it this long, especially with Robbie Ray going down. They've gotten some great development out of their starting pitchers, Logan Gilbert, etc. Kirby has had a nice jump forward. So next year they're going to have a formidable starting rotation. Nice off-speed pitch, big breaking curveball, gets the swing and a miss by Lowe for the first out here in the second inning. Just looked like a wiffle ball that he threw up there, honestly. Jonah Heim digs in from the right side today. Remember, he injured his wrist in that series against Houston back in the early parts of August. And he was not allowed to swing from the right side when he initially came off of the injured list as a way to kind of give himself more time to allow that injury to heal. And over the last 3 or 4 weeks now, he's finally started to swing a little bit more from that side. Now he's back to being his normal switch hitter self over the last week and a half, 2 weeks. See if the power numbers come back from that side. Little dribbler up the middle and through into center field. Garver will hold up there at second. Thought he could have taken third there, but decides not to test the arm of Joe Adell. And once again, Rangers have 2 on here. Don't let that mislead you. That was not a sharp ground ball. Seattle did beat up against everyone in August. I'll agree with you there. But they played way above their heads. I think the biggest reason for their success has been that starting rotation, though. What I thought would have fallen apart after the injury to Robbie Ray actually turned out to be the strength of that team. And then Julio Rodriguez really kind of came into form. He struggled early in the season, but he really kind of turned the corner in that run that they had. Suarez, even though he has all the strikeouts, really kind of turned things up. And the biggest piece that they acquired this offseason was Teoscar Hernandez. And he was absent, pretty much a complete no-show in the entire first half of the season. And you could make an argument he would have been their MVP in the second half of the year, along with Julio Rodriguez and Logan Gilbert. But nice work there for that starting rotation. The 2-0 pitch here to Taveras. Little tapper to short, flipped on to second. Heim is the only out there. They decide not to throw on to first with the speedy Taveras getting there. But it'll be runners on the corners once again for the Rangers, this time with 2 outs here in the second inning. Remember, they did this in the last half inning as well. Marcus Semien came around to score on the double play on Robbie Grossman. Reed Detmers has been one of the few starters the Angels have been able to count on for success against Texas this year. 2.08 ERA this year against Texas. Meanwhile, all other Angels starters have an ERA over 6 combined. Welcome in, Jose. Phillies heading back to the postseason. Yes, they are. Phillies are another scary team right now. I just think they're finally getting the Trey Turner that we thought they would be getting coming into the season. You look back at the World Baseball Classic and how his postseason went last year. Trey Turner was probably the hottest Major League Baseball player from an offensive perspective at that point. Shohei Ohtani was right there with him, but Trey Turner with the speed, I thought that would have been the perfect piece for them. He really struggled in that first half, was nowhere near the level of player that we expected coming into the year. 2-0 count here on Simeon. Grounds this one to second, and he is thrown out at first to end the inning. We go to the bottom of the second, 3-1. Angels lead it. But Trey Turner absolutely has been exactly what they thought they were getting in the second half. The speed's still there. The on-base is there. The home runs are there. Trey Turner's back to being the Trey Turner of old, and this is basically the one piece they really needed last year in the World Series to kind of get over the top. I still think they needed to add one more starter. Taijuan Walker's been good for them, but I still think their rotation could be a little bit lacking depending on who they go up against. You look at a team like the Atlanta Braves, who's been the best team all year long. They suddenly have injury issues in their rotation. And luckily for them, they don't have to play in the wild card round. But in that division series, are they going to be able to be healthy enough to be the team that was the best in all of baseball all year long? So if the Braves can get back to being healthy, I think they're going to run away with it in the National League, honestly. But if they can't get healthy all the way back, then you're going to be relying on guys like Bryce Elder. You're going to be relying on guys like Kyle Wright, etc. Guys who are either young and inexperienced. Spencer Strider is in that group as well, but they're going to be without, I believe, Charlie Morton and Max Fried, at least at the moment. They went on the injured list, if I remember correctly, a few days ago. But they are the favorites, in my opinion, if they get those guys back and healthy. You still look at that lineup. That's the best lineup in all of baseball, with Ronald Acuna leading things off there, Matt Olson, Austin Riley, Ozzie Albies, even the guy they brought in to fill the spot for Dansby Swanson, Orlando Arcia, is having a career year there. Braves look really good on the National League side. For the American League side, for the Astros, for the Rangers, for the Orioles, for the Rays, for the Twins, whoever gets in that final wild card spot between the Blue Jays and Mariners, I don't think any one of those teams right now could match up with a healthy Braves team. But you never know what happens in October baseball. You know, maybe the Rangers finally have figured out the bullpen. We talked a little bit last night about Jonathan Hernandez, how he was finally throwing strikes. And even though he gave up contact, that's more along the lines with what the pitching staff, what the coaching staff has come to expect from their pitchers as to don't walk guys, let them hit the ball and let your defense try to make plays for you. If you give up a base hit, so be it. But if you give up a walk, we're yanking you as quick as we can. So we'll see how things go the rest of the way for the Rangers. The 1-0 pitch is lined into center by Stefanik. I say lined, kind of a soft little fly ball there by Stefanik, and he is the first out here in the bottom of the second inning. Walsh digging in. The right fielder today hitting 133 on the season. It's going to be a tough, probably 5-year rebuild process for the Angels at bare minimum right now. There's no going to be short-circuiting this type of thing with the Angels like the Texas Rangers did. The Rangers were just bad for about 3 years. They were not in a rebuild process. They were still trying to win. And in that COVID-shortened season, when their season went south really quickly, they got a really high draft pick, and then really, that inspired them to go out there and try to completely gut this down to the studs and then inject money and short-circuit that rebuild by bringing in Simeon, by bringing in Gray, by bringing in Seager. And now you saw the money they spent this offseason on Eovaldi and DeGrom and all the pitching additions they made at the trade deadline, bringing in Chapman, Montgomery, Stratton. This team has certainly tried to short-circuit their rebuild. Meanwhile, the Angels, they don't really have pieces aside from Logan O'Hoppe as far as a position player that they can count on going forward. Mike Trout could be on the way out the door if rumors are said to be believed that the Angels are looking to really gut this thing down after the season if they cannot re-sign Shohei. I think it's only a matter of time till Shohei signs literally anywhere else. So I think that's a foregone conclusion at this point, how badly things have gone there for him. But Bradford works a 3-2 count now on Walsh as he takes time. A one away in the bottom of the second. 3-run home run by Drury and a double by Simeon came around to score on a double play by Grossman. 3-2 pitch, lifted high into the air. Simeon going out, Garcia in, and Garcia will take charge and make the play. 2 away here in the bottom of the second. We'll be doing some more baseball for you guys tomorrow. Rangers and Angels will be at 8:38, same time again tomorrow. We'll be live for you guys then. We'll also have a couple of other lives earlier in the day. We'll kind of go over all what's happening around the NFL tomorrow as well. That live will be right around 6 o'clock. We'll do an MLB live, kind of the final one of the regular season, just to kind of recap things, how things are going around Major League Baseball, how playoff races are shaping up, what a potential playoff series could look like around the wild card. Welcome in, Ryan. True diehard Ranger fan, want to make it back to the World Series, so we atone for Cruz dropping that ball in the World Series. Still gets me to this day. I'm not blaming Nelson Cruz on that one. I understand he was playing too far in on that one. If you're a Rangers fan, the play he's referring to is back in the World Series against the St. Louis Cardinals. They were up 3-2, ninth inning, blew the game late in that one on I want to say it was Lance Berkman hit the ball over the head of Nelson Cruz, who was playing too shallow. That's on the coaching staff to tell him where to position. They tell them every single time, between every single pitch. Even back then, they did that. And they just never realized Cruz was that far in, and the ball just got over his head. And if he had been playing even 2 steps further back, we're talking about the Rangers having one World Series championship, going for another one, now that they've almost completed their rebuild once they get back to get back to postseason baseball. But that was a difficult one to watch as a Rangers fan. I thought going into Game 7 they still had a chance to win. You think back to some of the greatest World Series ever played, back to the Boston Red Sox, the ball that goes through the wickets for him. And they still had another game to play after that, and it was the Mets who came out on top. Rangers had a chance even after that to come out on top and didn't. You got to understand the gut punch that it is, but you got to be able to recover and come back in Game 7 and win that one. But didn't get the job done. Little ground ball there ends the inning. We go to the top of the third. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors for Texas. 3 runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Angels. Or better put, he didn't make a play. I'll agree with you there. Nelson Cruz is still one of my favorite Rangers. I still don't understand why they let him go at that point. He was really the last consistent power hitter, I'll put it that way, at that time in the Rangers lineup. I thought that his career still had a good chunk of time left in it. We saw that as evidence with his time with the Orioles, the Mariners, all number of teams that he's been to since then. But it seems like he's finally wound his career down. But one of the best true contact hitters, power hitters in the game after David Ortiz left baseball, that was Nelson Cruz. And I think the Rangers would have been better off keeping him in their lineup instead of just letting him go for what was a 2-year. It was a $16 million deal per year. I can't remember if it was 2 or a 4-year deal, but either way, the Rangers should have done better by Nelson Cruz at that point. But I agree, he could have made a better play. He could have realized himself he was playing too far in. No doubles defense would have been better, But unfortunately, didn't get the play done. Coaching staff didn't make the right decision there either by noticing that he was playing too far in. Or maybe he was told to play that far in. Who knows? They never really clarified that either. But in either event, the Rangers lost that World Series. Alrighty. Rangers are going to have Seager, Grossman, and Young here in the third. Seager a .333 average, over 1,000 OPS. Grossman, really good on-base guy, had a couple of walks in the game yesterday. .240 average on the year, 740 OPS. Lefty on lefty here with Detmers and Seager. Little nubber off the fists. We'll see if the Detmers gets over in time. He does, and still manages to stick it. Seager's not going to, run that one out as hard as possible on that one. He's trying to save his hamstrings after injuring them earlier this year. Coaching staff has told him to run it about 80 to 90% on those ground balls. Doesn't matter if it's, a do or die play or not, but they just want to keep him healthy and in the lineup, so you got to understand it from that perspective. Live to fight another day. Could he have probably beaten that one out if he was busting it out of the box the whole way down? Max effort? Sure. But then you're talking about a guy who might pull a hamstring and then he's out for a month right as you're getting into the postseason. So, understandably, you're 4 games is your magic number right now to win the AL West. You've got bigger things on your mind than beating out a ground ball and, against a team that's 70 and 87 on the year. Sure, you'd like to win every single battle in every single game, but sometimes you got to live to fight another day as Bruce Bochy watches Grossman take that one for a ball. Now 2-1 here to Robbie. Grossman's been a nice addition to this team, signed late in spring training when they needed somebody to fill that left fielder spot in their lineup. They weren't expecting to have Travis Jankowski either, but with the injury to Tavares, they had to bring in Jankowski as well. And both players have been really good additions to this team. And as I said, Grossman has a great eye at the plate. Took a couple of walks yesterday. Had another one to the ledger today. That one misses outside. And Rangers once again have a runner on base for the third consecutive inning. We'll see if they're able to have a bigger inning than they did in their first. Josh Young worked a walk in his first at bat. Kind of stands straight up and down in that batter's box, kind of wagging that bat back and forth. And that one misses a mile above the zone. Detmers takes a little bit of a walk around the mound there. Young, 70 RBIs in the season, third among all rookies in the American League. The 1-0 pitch. Looping curveball just on the outside corner at the top of the zone. 1-1. Check in on that Astros game here at the end of the half inning. I think they just got underway in Seattle. Kind of a cue shot off the barrel of the bat, bounds back behind home plate, and it's 1-2. Probably would have been a ball there, but either way, Detmers gets out in front here. Detmers is not happy with his location, shaking his head back and forth as he stands on the rubber. Does so again. He's really not happy with his location there. High fly ball, left center, just in front of the track. Adele makes the catch. Grossman jogs back to first. 2 away now in the top half of the third. It'll be up to Adolis Garcia to keep this inning going for the Rangers. We've seen a little bit of a different approach for Adolis over the last week or so. More patient, more consistent swings every single time in that batter's box. He's not selling out for the home run like he did before his IL stint. A little bit more patient at the plate as well. Defensively, he's still one of the best right fielders in the game. Able to gun down pretty much anybody. Throw him out at first, throw him out at home. He's done it, I believe, at all 4 bases this year. And pickoff attempt there. That'll be the first disengagement there for Detmers. Garcia was one of many Rangers who struggled late in the month of August, a 766 OPS. So far in September, even though he missed 10 games, up to a 927 OPS. So this is definitely the best version of Adolis Garcia the Rangers have seen all season. That one misses low, but Garcia swings and misses at it. 1-1. He's had that big looping pitch so far today. If I'm Adolis, I'm laying off that pitch. Looks like they're going all off speed here right now to Adolis. That one misses outside on a changeup. Interesting thing about that is Adolis was really struggling hitting fastballs before he went on the injured list. And nobody's really challenged him since he's come back from the IL stint with a fastball. He has taken a couple of those fastballs deep, so I guess maybe he's come out of it. But before the IL stint, the fastball, the high fastball was the way to go against Adolis. There we see one right at the top of the zone, inside corner. Absolute paint there. Nothing Adolis could do with that one. Swing and a miss. 2-2 now to Garcia. Mitch Garver waiting on deck. Took a walk his last at bat. The 2-2. Fastball again. Probably about 6-7 inches above the zone. Count is full. O'Hop comes out in front. Tells everybody to throw to first base with the runner on the move. With a 3-2 count, 2 outs and a runner on first. The set by Detmers. And the pitch. Strike 3. Garcia takes it looking on the outer third of the plate. Knee high, or I should say waist high. And I guess Garcia was just looking for something else. But nice work by Detmers to get that one done. And we go to the bottom half of the third inning. It'll be Grichuk, Neto, and Drury. This was the part of the order Bradford struggled with the last time through. Single, single, and a 3-run home run for Drury. We'll see if he's able to course correct on this one. Let's check in on that Astros game and just see how things are going for them. Arizona opening up a can on the White Sox. Same thing with Minnesota over Oakland. Dodgers 9-1 over Colorado. Padres 1-0 over San Francisco. Looks like they're scoreless in Seattle with the bases loaded for Houston. Kirby running into some trouble here. Couple of base hits and a walk. Diaz is up now for them. This is a big game for Seattle. You got to think if they don't win this one, it's hard-pressed to see them leapfrogging either the Blue Jays or the Astros for that final wild card spot. The Mariners come into this game losers of 4 straight. 0-2 count now on Diaz in that Astros-Mariners game. Looks like they're just about back for the bottom of the third for the Rangers and Angels. We'll see how this bases loaded situation goes for Houston. Bradford's first pitch, though, is well outside by about 2.5 feet. Looks like he's struggling with location once again. He looked good in the second, but looks like he's back to missing locations again. This one, a high fastball above the zone, gets the chase by Grichuk. In the last 6 games for Grichuk, has a 6-game hitting streak, .318 average, 7 for 22 with 3 doubles. That one's painted right on the outside corner by Bradford, and he's ahead 1-2 now. The 1-2. Swung on and missed. Another strikeout there for Bradford. Battled back after missing location with his first 2 pitches and gets the strikeout. Looks like the Mariners were able to get out of it. A ground ball to end the inning. Flip back over to the Rangers screen for you guys. Neto fouls this one down the third base line and ricochets almost all the way out into left center field. That was a heck of a ricochet. In the month of September, Neto, remember he was the young shortstop called up very early. He's hitting .143 in September, 2 doubles, a home run, and 3 RBIs with 18 strikeouts. Safe to say he's going to be working on some things this off season. You got to hope for the Angels' sake that he's able to figure some things out because, like I said, this organization doesn't have a lot of talent at the upper levels of the minors. Nice play by Young, strong throw over to first, and Neto is once again retired. 2 away here in the third inning. It'll be up to Brandon Drury to keep things going for the Angels. Again, he was the one who had that 3-run home run to break things open for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Bradford up to 48 pitches now. As the changeup here by Drury is lined off the glove of Bradford. Seager makes this calm play over to first and ends the inning. We go to the top of the fourth. It'll be Garver, Lowe, and Heim for the Rangers. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors for Texas. 3 runs, 3 hits, no errors for Anaheim, or for the LA Angels. It's still hard for me not to think of them as the Anaheim Angels. I still remember them back in the days when they had Mo Vaughn, Garrett Anderson, Darren Erstad, David Eckstein, Jared Weaver, that level of team. John Lackey. That was one of the best Angels teams I've ever seen play, for them anyway. I know they've tried to reload time and time again, and it just hasn't worked. The Albert Pujols signing, the Josh Hamilton signing, Rendon obviously didn't work out. They've tried going after some starting pitching. They tried, the 1-year investment thing with Noah Syndergaard. They tried the Dylan Bundy thing. They've tried, This year Anderson in the starting rotation, just every single string they try to pull, nothing seems to work for the Angels. Now, whether that's the front office just literally making the worst decisions consistently in the history of an organization, um, or if it's just pure bad luck, it just leads to where the Angels are now, which is a team that's going to be a dumpster fire for the next 5 years. I've talked ad nauseum about the way they've handled Shohei Ohtani. If you guys want, me to go over the rationale behind that, but I can. But this is not a good future for the LA Angels. Question for you, those who, question for you, those Young win does Young win Gold Glove and Rookie of the Year? In my mind, he's been the best defensive third baseman in the game. Now, he's going to be pushed by Matt Chapman up in Toronto, who's long been considered the best third baseman defensively in the American League. On the National League side, Nolan Arenado. But for my money, there's no better defensive third baseman in the game right now. Manny Machado on the National League side gets some attention as well. But for my money, I want Josh Young as my third baseman if I'm needing some defense at that position. Now, as far as Rookie of the Year, that's a tough thing. I mean, there's some other good candidates out there. I think the time that he missed is the hard part for me for Josh Young. I still think he should win Rookie of the Year. I'm just not sure he's going to get enough votes to be able to get there because of the missed time. Another hard hit ball by Mitch Garver, and boy, has he been hot. Just a nice, hard, solid line drive. Falls into left for a base hit, lead things off. Been on base twice already now. Wow. Just what a godsend he's been to this lineup for the last 2 months. The one guy I would like to see pick it up a little bit here over the next 3 weeks is Nathaniel Lowe. I'd really like to see him get on a little bit of a hot streak. Having him back up a guy like Corey Seager in that lineup and come through time in, time and again, that would be very nice for this lineup. If he's unable to perform, unable to drive him in when he gets on base, Rangers need to consider, other options. Robbie Grossman gets on base as well, but you need somebody who's going to drive in some runs. I floated the idea about Evan Carter eventually being the leadoff hitter next year, but if Marcus Semion's able to drive in runs at a consistent rate, maybe you put him in there at that 3 spot and put Evan Carter there at the leadoff. But Semion's been the leadoff guy all year long. I don't think they're going to change it. But if they struggle in a postseason series and they just they're not getting runs across, they may do some extreme things to this lineup to really try to jumpstart it in a hurry. Because in a playoff series, you may not get tomorrow. It's not promised to you. If you're in the wild card especially, you're going to be on the road most likely. If you're Texas, you will be on the road if you're in the wild card round. And you're not going to have, hey, we'll lose 3 games and we'll come back and win 3. It's not going to work like that. In the wild card round, you lose 2, you're done. In the division round, same thing. You lose 3, you're done. So you can't sit there and wait for things to fall back into place over a 2 or 3 game stretch. You need to fix them and fix them immediately. Evan Carter, I think, will be in this game sooner rather than later. I like how he's between Robbie Grossman and Austin Hedges on the bench. A couple of veterans to kind of learn from. Foul ball there by Lowe. Unable to hold on to it is O'Hop. But Carter being able to soak up as much information as possible this season and then still maintain that rookie status. And it'll be tough to see who wins the Rookie of the Year in the American League next year. Will it be Evan Carter? Will it be a guy like Wyatt Langford who's going to come up and I think going to tear the world? Oh, wow. That's a tough call for Nathaniel Lowe. Just another looping curveball. Doesn't look like it got over the plate, but able to get the call there. And that's just a tough at bat for Nathaniel. That's how your at bat ends. Nice framing job by Logan O'Hop, though, for the Angels. I mean, that pitch was, 2 inches from hitting his elbow. Hard hit ball by Heim, but this one's going to go foul down the first base line. Had a single in his last at bat. Jonah this year a .324 average against Anaheim, or the LA Angels. This one's lifted high into the air, shallow right center field. Coming on is Walsh and making the play for the second out of the inning. Lodi Tavares coming in again. We'll see if he's a little bit more patient than his last at bat. We've noticed over the last couple of games that Leote's early in the game is trying to ambush the ball a little earlier in the count. Later in the game, he might be willing to, take a pitch or two, but first pitch swinging again off the end of the bat, out of play. 0-1 the count here to the Rangers center fielder. He's one guy I thought could use some time off here over the next few games. Rangers really, need to start thinking about how they want to preserve the health of their players going into the postseason while still maintaining their effectiveness, momentum, all those things. Leote is one of the guys I could see getting some time off here over the next week. The 0-1. Hard hit ball, left field, but right at Grichuk, and that'll end things here in the top half of the fourth inning. Rangers trail it 3-1 here in the fourth. Checking on that Astros and Mariners game. Looks like Arizona's really starting to lay it on them now, 15-4 against the White Sox. Looks like the Mariners weren't able to get anything going in their half of the first inning. Strikeout, and a walk. Or no, strikeout, and another out. So they go 1, 2, 3 in their half of the first. To the second they go, scoreless. As I mentioned, we'll be live for you guys tonight. We'll have a couple of lives for you tomorrow, kind of updating you on what's going around the NFL. Talk a little bit of Chiefs, talk a little bit Jets, Cowboys, talk some Bengals, Rams, and Eagles tomorrow on our NFL Live show. So make sure you join us 6 p.m. for that one. We will do our MLB Live thereafter around 7 o'clock after we finish our NFL Live. Take a little bit of a break, and then we'll do the Rangers and Angels series finale. The last time these two teams will face each other this season. We'll see if it's the Rangers going for the sweep, if they're able to pull this one out, or if the Angels go for the series win, if they win this evening. On Thursday, we'll have another live for you guys, Texas versus Seattle. That'll be a 4-game series there. We'll probably have all 4 games of that series here at the Upside. So make sure you guys, hit that like, subscribe. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at UpsideSN. Whenever we do go live, whenever we do post a video, we will post it there as well, so you will be notified. I know YouTube only lets you get like 3 notifications a day, so I only do like 3 short videos, 15-second to 60-second videos every day, and then I try to do a live now. So this final week of the season, we're really going to try to maximize our baseball coverage. I know we gained quite a few baseball subscribers this year, so we're going to try to stay with that content that we've got so successful with. And then we've gained quite a few NFL subscribers over the last couple of weeks, so we'll make sure we're live for you guys doing some NFL games. I know some of you guys talked a little bit about what games you'd like to see us do, and the first game that was mentioned anyway was Buffalo versus Miami. We could do that one. Nice pitch there by Bradford. 3-1 now to O'Hop. Swinging and a miss. Chased that one just a little bit. 3-2 is the count now. But you guys let us know, what game you'd like to see us do on Sunday, and we'll try to do it for you guys. The 3-2 pitch. Popped up. Behind first base. Going out is Lowe. Took his eye off it. I don't know what Nathaniel Lowe is doing. I guess he thought he heard Marcus Semien call for it. Marcus Semien wasn't even close. Marcus Semien is playing behind second base at the start of this play. Marcus does make a little bit of an attempt over there. Nathaniel stops halfway to the ball, looks over at Marcus and says, "Oh, you're not over here." What? Wow. That was a good pitch there by Bradford. Called a ball, though. That was right at the top of the zone on the inside corner. Nathaniel Lowe is very angry. You can tell. A little red in the face there. I would be too. Maybe that'll light a fire under him over the next week. Maybe he needed an error. It goes down as a double for a hop, but that should be an error all the way. That was a can of corn 15 feet into the outfield grass. Shake it off, etc., but you can tell Nathaniel Lowe's still thinking about it. And you know Bradford's sitting there going, come on, man. I haven't gotten a start, maybe 2 starts this entire month. I give up a 3-run homer, and so far I've pitched a shutout since. I get a pop-up against probably their best hitter in the lineup, and you can't come down with a catch. That's difficult for Bradford to kind of overcome, but this is a kind of a quadruple A lineup, if you will. The 1-2 pitch here to Adele. Popped up, first base side. This one's going to get out of play, though. Heim gives it a look all the way over, though. It'll remain 1-2. Rangers 4 games, or have their magic number at 4 anyway. If that, like I said at the beginning of the show, if they win these 2 games in LA and then Houston loses their 2 in Seattle, they'll already have the division wrapped up and they can kind of have fun, play with the lineup a little bit, rest guys, try to keep themselves fresh going into the postseason. But remember, if they're getting the division win, they very likely will have that first round bye, and they will get some extra rest on top of that. So they might not need to rest too much, but they might give guys who played every day, an extra inning or 2 off, get them off their feet. Let Corey Seager rest those hamstrings. No need to take a risk with him. Hard hit ball into center. Tavares gets it on 1 hop, throws it in. A hop stops at third. It'll be first and third. Nobody out here in the 4th inning. Got to imagine Mike Maddox is going to come out of the dugout here just to have some words of wisdom here. Bradford so far has thrown 3+ innings. Got to be happy with his performance so far. The 1 home run's really been the biggest snafu for him. But if you can get 4 or 5 innings out of him and give him up 3, maybe 4, you'd have to think that'd be a successful start at this point for the Rangers, who are really struggling with length out of that rotation right now. Bullpen is considerably fresh, though. That one finishes low, ball 1. Escobar, a very patient hitter. However, he's 154 average in the last 10 games. Nobody in this lineup's really having a great month of September. Rangers playing for the double play. This one's grounded to third. They'll go to first with it. Young thought about going home, but just did not have enough time. I thought they could have gotten the double play, though. Instead, they just get the for sure out there at first. 1 out, runner at second now, with Escobar being retired at first and O'Hop scoring. The double to lead off the inning coming around to score. Not sure if the Young was clear on where he was going to go with the ball before he started charging to make the play on it, which is why I think they missed the opportunity to get that double play. Either that or maybe he thought he did see an opportunity to throw out the runner at home. In either event, he still got the 1 out, so you'll take it if you're a Rangers fan. Like to see it stop there. The 0-1. Nice changeup right at the bottom of the zone. Slow roller to Marcus Semien on to first for the 2nd out of the inning. It'll be up to Walsh next. A 131 hitter. You'd like to see the Rangers retire him and get back into the dugout going to the 5th. Angels, you're just hoping to get through this season, honestly. It's been a tough month of September. Just things have not gone well, pretty much in any category for them. First pitch here, kind of an excuse me swing, kind of a soft liner to Young, and he gets the out there. Through 4 innings, Angels have tacked on another run. It's 1 run, 4 hits, no errors for Texas. 4 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Angels. Let's flip over to that Houston game just to see if there's a score yet. Looks like the Astros went 1-2-3 in their half of the second. As they go, looks like Teoscar Hernandez is going to lead things off in the second there for the Mariners. Alrighty, as I mentioned, we're going to be doing some lives for you guys tomorrow. We're going to try to do some more video content for you guys as well. We're going to start a new format for some videos. I know some of you guys are hoping for some content on your favorite team. Not sure how we're going to go about it as far as how the poll is going to go, but essentially, you guys will get to pick which story we do for each video, one video every single day. So when we do a live, say like tonight, I'll have a poll up going for you guys, and you guys will be able to vote A or B. Do you guys want me to talk about how the Chicago Bears are a dumpster fire? For instance, I put that video out there today. Or are you a fan of the Kansas City Chiefs and want me to talk about Travis Kelce and how that offense is going to perform against the New York Jets? That was the video, another video I did today. Say those are the 2 videos, options that you have. I would then make a video based on that content, whichever one you guys end up voting for, and that video would come out around 7 o'clock every single night. So that's kind of one idea I'm toying around with. As far as how the voting will go, I'm toying with a couple of different ideas. So if you guys have any ideas or games you guys want me to cover or videos you guys want me to make, I'm always open for ideas. And I cover pretty much all 4 major sports. Hockey's back underway. Preseason hockey's going on right now. That'll be back on the 12th. We will be doing some live hockey games for you guys later in the month of October. First pitch here to Simeon Benz over there for a strike. Detmer's at 56 pitches right now. That one right on the inside corner there. Gets the call. Simeon swinging a hot bat. 3 home runs in the last 2 games for Texas. That one bounces in the dirt though. 1-2. Texas magic number is 4. He had a double back in the first inning. However, Detmers gets the best of him here, chases that one inside, and Simeon goes down swinging anyway. Corey Seager due up, followed by Grossman and then Young. Seager at 33 home runs on the season, I believe. I predicted he would be able to get to 35 before the end of the year. Let's see if he's able to knock one out here. Hard hit, but out of play, and it's 0-1. .332 average, 96 home runs, 33 home runs. 96 RBIs, excuse me, 33 home runs. Another foul ball. This one just does get about 2 rows out of play. Stefanik unable to make a play. The 0-2 to Seager. The stretch and the pitch. Ow. That one looked like it got the hand of Corey Seager. He was kind of swinging a little bit at it, kind of a check swing. Off of his wrist. This is not good for Texas. He's probably the one guy in this lineup that cannot go out. Trainer's looking at him right in front of the dugout. Corey almost looked like he wanted to go straight to the locker room. That is not good when you're looking at a player who you need in the lineup. Seager looks like they're going to go ahead and take him out, I believe. No? He's circling back to the base. He's putting on the oven mitt, but he is the one guy in this Rangers lineup the Rangers absolutely have to keep. Let's look at the slow motion replay. Looks like it caught him right here on the wrist, forearm area. No padding in that area. Did not catch the bat. I thought it might have crushed his fingers in between the bat and the ball, but it hit him clean right in here. That one misses outside. You like to see the Rangers kind of pick up their teammate here, score some runs. That way you can get it on ice quicker. But a scary moment for Rangers fans right there, because if that's a broken wrist, he's probably out for the entirety of the postseason. That would have been probably the coup de grace as far as injuries go to this Rangers team. I mean, at this point, the Rangers fan base has to almost expect another injury at this point with how things have gone with DeGrom, with Scherzer, with pretty much all of their all-stars except for Marcus Semien. That one misses high. Oh, wow. What a friendly call by the umpire there. That one missed probably about 3 or 4 inches north of the zone and gets the strike call. 2-1 now. This one's hard hit but foul down the third base line. 2-2 is now the count. But Rangers fans breathing a deep sigh of relief on that one. But at least for now, Corey Seager's at least remaining in the game. Oh, that did not miss staying fair by much. Another looping. Oh my goodness. He is getting all kinds of calls on that looping curveball. I mean, that was closer than the other ones we've seen. The one to Nathaniel Lowe was egregious. This one's right at the top of the zone. It's almost like a meteor dropping straight down into that catcher's glove, so it looks like it finishes right in the strike zone. Hard hit but foul. Straight back to the screen for Josh Young. 2 away here in the top of the 5th. Rangers did their damage back in the 6th inning yesterday with back-to-back-to-back home runs. First time since 2015 for Texas to have that happen. Detmer's working with a lot of off-speed pitches here. Another change-up on the outer half of the plate. Young takes time here. We'll stretch our legs here at the end of this half inning here, so make sure to don't go anywhere. Get a drink, run to the bathroom, whatever you got to do. But we'll be right back after this half inning anyway. This one's lifted foul. Another pitch about 3 or 4 inches high above the zone. But with the way things have been called this half inning against Texas, you almost have to swing at that one now. Detmers in his last start against the Rangers, 7 1/3, 1 hit, 5 strikeouts, and 4 walks. The 0-2 pitch swung on and missed, blocked by the catcher, thrown on to first to complete the strikeout. And that'll do it for the Rangers here in the 5th. 4-1 our score. We'll see if Corey Seager stays in the game, but we'll be right back in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back. It is the bottom of the fifth inning. Told you guys we'd be just a moment. 2-2 count here. Bradford pitching to the number 9 hole hitter, Fletcher. Fletcher 0 for 1 on the day. The set and the pitch fouled off down the first base line. Nice work by Bradford at 69 pitches. Curious to see how far they'll let him go since he's not really pitched a whole lot in the month of September. How much length can they really expect out of him? He's up to 70 pitches today. I can't imagine he gets too much further than this. Imagine probably 75, 80 pitches, probably his max today. Fletcher holds off according to the first base umpire. It will go as a ball. Corey Seager, by the way, does stay in the game at shortstop after being hit by the pitch off of his wrist there. Fletcher lines this one into left field. Grossman gets it in quickly. Randall Grichuk due up next. 1 for 2 on the day with a strikeout. Angels have 6 hits now on the day. We'll see if they're able to keep the lead this time around. Grichuk lifts this one high into right center field. This one goes off the wall. Garcia flips it in. This will be second and third. It could have been a home run. They're ruling it a home run right now. And a 2-run home run makes it a 6-1 ball game for the Angels. I'm not sure that one got out. If it did, it just got over the wall. It did kind of hit off of the wall, kind of funny. You never know with the way the walls are kind of placed here and with the LA Angels. They're looking to see if they can at least look at it. Not sure if the Rangers are challenging this or if it's going to be an umpire review. It was a hard hit ball by Grichuk. Looking at where that ball hit, might have been just on top of the yellow line. Nope, it hit the yellow line and bounced back into the field of play. That should be a double. From what I'm seeing there, this should be second and third, nobody out for the Angels. I do think the Rangers are in a tough spot right now. They're kind of trying to piecemeal this one together with Corey Bradford kind of taking the ball in this one. They've been trying to piecemeal this thing together with Scotch tape, a little bit of stickum, some glue, a little bit of wire, some yarn, some string, twine, whatever they can find to keep this rotation together over the last month of the season. Now that Heaney's no longer in that starting rotation or Perez, this is going back to the MLB replay review. They show you the inside the studio look of that replay room. But welcome in, Rajon. It looks like it hits that yellow line. So are they saying if it hits that yellow line and goes back into the field of play, it's not a home run? That's the way I would view it. But of course, I am a Rangers fan, as I've told you guys before. But it does clearly hit the yellow line. Does it hit above the yellow line? I think it hits right at the top of that yellow line. Not above it, not on top of the yellow line, which would have been a home run. But it hits the padding of that yellow line and bounces into the field of play. There's a little ledge right above that yellow line where that home run line is, that if it had hit above there, it would have bounced up off of that and off of that little screen that they have above that scoreboard, or where that scoreboard is. And this should go back into the field of play as a double. So runners should return to second and third is the way I'm seeing it right now. It does hit right at the top of that, and then it bounces into the field of play, not over and back in. You think the Rangers are just not ready for prime time? Well, they're not going to win every game, my friend. But I don't think that they've been ready for prime time all year long with that bullpen. I'll agree with you on that one. But this lineup is for real. I do still think they could have used a designated hitter or somebody to bring in at that point. So the official ruling is runners do return to second and third. It's still a 4-1 ball game. Grichuk returns out to second, Fletcher to third. And Neto is up next. A lot of speed out there. Rangers got double barrel action going. Looks like Jake Latz possibly and Chris Stratton loosening for the Rangers. Stratton's really struggled over the last couple of appearances after being the most lockdown reliever the Rangers have had since the trade deadline. Hasn't been able to really record any outs in the last 7 or 8 hitters he's faced. Maybe this is a good opportunity to get him to build some confidence, but I'd let him come in with a clean inning if that's the route you decide to go. So I think if you're going to pull Bradford here, I would go with the option of Jake Latz and then go with Chris Stratton probably in the 7th. But right now, the way I'm looking at it, I would let Cody Bradford probably pitch to one more guy in Neto, and depending on how that goes, then we could see Drury having a change. Nope, they're going to go ahead and make the decision. Bochy's going to go ahead and come on out there. We'll see which arm they decide to go with. Or maybe it's just Bochy going out there to talk to him. He hasn't made a motion. Looks like they're going with the righty. So looks like they're going to go with Chris Stratton. Try to keep the game close. I don't know. You're asking him to come into a game down 3 where you pretty much have to hold the lead here, not allow another runner in. I don't know. I'd probably gone at least Bradford for one more hitter and then made the decision if I wanted to go after Drury or if I wanted to go after Latz and go ahead and bring in Latz depending on how the at-bat with Neto went. If Neto got a base hit, both runners scored, I immediately go to Latz anyway. If Neto is recorded as an out, then it would be a tough decision of whether or not to go with the lefty or the righty. But they decide to go with Chris Stratton and see if they can go to the well one more time and see if he's got it going again. I think this is more about the long-term future of the Rangers right now as far as what they're trying to do with their bullpen going into the postseason. Maybe they want to go ahead and use Stratton today, get out of a tough jam, build some confidence that way before they're just trying to get some innings eaten in Seattle. Checking on the out-of-town scoreboard. Looks like it's still scoreless, Seattle and Houston right now. Runners on first and second anyway for Seattle. Nobody out in the bottom of the 3rd there. Got 28 of you guys with us right now. Appreciate that. Thank you for the likes, by the way. Really does help us out. Gained quite a few subscribers last night during our live. Had 62 of you guys watching with us in the Angels and Rangers game. Gained about 10 subscribers out of that, so I appreciate it. We crossed the 1,400 mark the day before, and then kind of launched ourselves pretty good after that with our live yesterday. Chris Stratton on the year, 63 games, 82 innings pitched, a 3.62 earned run average, but he's been far better with the Rangers than he was with St. Louis earlier this year. But as of late, as I mentioned, he's really struggled to really record any outs at all. Rangers infield is in. Try to cut down the runner at the plate. First pitch right at the bottom of the zone, gets the strike call. Not a great job of receiving that one by Heim, but they still get the strike. Neto had a single back in the first, but he's really struggled in the month of September. Average below 150. Second pitch right at the top of the zone on the outside corner. Swung on and missed by Neto. Stratton looks sharp so far. Runners again on second and third after the home run call was reversed with the MLB replay review. Grichuk hit that one right off the top of the line in right center field. The 0-2 pitch here to Neto. Fastball in the lower half of the plate, or lower half of the zone on the outer half of the plate anyway, fouled off by Neto, and it remains 0-2 here to the young shortstop. Mariners just scratch across the first run of the game against the Astros. They lead it 1-0 in the bottom of the third. Good news for Rangers fans. Hard hit down the right field line, and it's still 0-2. Stratton doing a good job mixing up locations. All 4 pitches in all 4 quadrants so far. Stratton set. And the pitch. Lifted high in the air. Right field line. Garcia coming in. Makes the catch. He throws hard home. Let's see if they try to test him. They do. And they get the run home. Nice work there by Fletcher. That was a tough running catch for Garcia to make. If he had been set underneath it, I think you would have had him by a mile. But Garcia had to turn his body. Then Heim had to make kind of a stab at it to try to catch it. They were able to take advantage of where that ball was hit in foul territory. Either event, 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. Grichuk does advance to 3rd on the play as well. The throw does beat Fletcher to the base, but if it had been a little bit more on line, his goose is cooked. Even with having to turn, throw, have it be offline, they still almost got it there. First pitch by Stratton to Drury is a strike. That one misses high. They throw back down to 3rd. And he is in there safely. The umpire didn't make any movement at all, so you never know if he's still watching for something or what, or if he already made the call and the camera's just late to it. But in either event, count is now 1-1 to Drury. Runner still on 3rd with only 1 out here in the inning. This one is popped up foul, 1-2 now. Rangers would love to be able to get this inning shut here. Leave it 5-1 going to the 6th. Rangers have had a lot of success in the 6th, 7th, and 8th innings as of late. See if they have a little bit more magic left in this one. The 1-2 pitch bounces in there, gets away from Heim. Goes home. Grichuk gets in there and scores. It's now a 6-1 ball game. Heim didn't get down fast enough to block that one, and that one hurts. Heim in a little bit of pain on that one as well, but I think it's more painful that the run scored, that ball got away from him more than anything else. That wasn't a scary play or anything like that. That was just Grichuk forcing the issue on a ball that got away. I mean, it bounced in the dirt. As a catcher, you got to be able to stay in front of that. I think if he drops down to both knees and kind of covers it like you're supposed to, like this, essentially, with your body, that ball doesn't get away. And if it does, it goes up the third base line, maybe a foot or 2. Grichuk doesn't move then. In either event, this one's fouled off by Drury. Still remains 2-2. Now it's back to a 6-1 ball game, just like that homer would have counted. But Rangers had their chance to keep those runners off the board and unsuccessful at doing so. Both inherited runners have now scored against Stratton. The 2-2 fouled off again. Stratton still hasn't given up a hit or a walk in this one, but both runners score in this half inning. Rangers will have their work cut out for them going forward. Mariners have added to their lead. It's now 2-0 against the Astros in the bottom of the 3rd there. So, worst case scenario, I suppose this is a good thing for them. Hard hit ball into center field and down in front of Leote. Drury is now 2 for 3 on the day. Another hard hit ball. It'll be Logan O'Hoppe next. Mike Maddox is going to come out and have a chat with Chris Stratton. I think that wild pitch, that they're calling a wild pitch anyway, they just want to make sure his mind is focused on the batter at hand. Julio Rodriguez, they're just showing the replay that allowed the second runner to score. Sacrifice fly by Julio Rodriguez. The conference is over at the mound, and we'll see how things go the rest of the way. But Rangers at least getting some help from the Mariners tonight, even though they're struggling here against the LA Angels. Really would like to have seen a sweep in this one, but doesn't look like that's going to happen at this point. This one's fouled back directly to the screen. O'Hop had a double in the fourth, scored a run as well. That one finishes in the dirt, 1-1. We told you guys yesterday about Max Scherzer throwing kind of on his own, and reporters seeing him on the field the other day. Max Scherzer, of course, came out of a start in Toronto. Another base hit here by Logan O'Hop, it looks like. This one's kind of off the handle, blooped out over short. This one will fall. Runners will now be at first and second. But told you a little bit about the Max Scherzer news that even with his injury, people thought he was going to miss at least the regular season and very likely going to miss the entirety of the postseason. Well, he's still going to miss the entirety of the regular season, but the reporter saw him throwing on the side the other day, and he literally just kind of felt fine for a couple of days and decided to start throwing, just to kind of throw the ball around, not to pitch or anything like that, but just to play catch, and did so without any pain. Team said he didn't feel any pain after or the day after either, but they're still going to go the rest and wait and see approach with him. So they're going to be very patient with Max Scherzer, as you might expect. There's no need to get him ready for a game, here at the very end of the season if he was ready to play. But to get him ready for the ALDS would be a godsend for this Rangers team. Getting him to headline that starting rotation going into that series would be fantastic. But I think that's asking a little too much at this point. So what could the best case scenario be for the Rangers? I think you're probably looking more realistically at the ALCS. The news today out of Texas with Max Scherzer is that Bruce Bochy actually thinks he will be back at some point in the postseason. He thinks he'll for sure be back by the World Series if they were to get that far. But that's kind of counting your chickens before they, actually come into roost. So Bochy didn't want to elaborate beyond that really, but it sounds like to me they're hoping for the ALCS as kind of the most likely scenario if it goes their way. 0-2 pitch here to Adele. Stratton fastball right down the middle. Misses location. Ground ball into left field. For some reason, they didn't allow Drury to score. Either he's really slow or they're just being very careful. But bases are now loaded against Chris Stratton. I'm wondering if they're going to go ahead and go with the youngster with Jake Latz out of the bullpen. Once again, Chris Stratton struggling to get outs. Only one out here in this inning. Bradford gave up a couple of base hits, of course. The sacrifice fly down the foul out, I should say, that allowed a run to score. And then 3 consecutive hits here by the Rangers. It is Latz, the only one loosening in the Rangers bullpen. I think if they get a base hit here, we will see Owen Latz just to kind of mop up some, or Jake Latz anyway, to mop up some of this work here. Right on the outside corner. Escobar didn't like that one. 1-1 is the count. Escobar does have one career grand slam. Allen misses low and away. 2-1. The set and the pitch. Swung on and missed. Nice fastball, maybe an inch or two above the zone. But got the job done with that one. 2-2 now. If Stratton can get through this one without allowing another run to score, this would be fantastic for his confidence, you'd have to think, even with giving up 3 hits in a row now. That one misses in the dirt in front of the plate, and Heim this time does actually lean over and keep it in front of him, paying more mind to his defensive posture on those balls in the dirt instead of trying to backhand stab them out of midair. That's what allowed the second run to score here in the inning. Nice fastball all the way in off the fists of Escobar, but able to foul it off. Still 3-2. He swung at ball 4 there. Got 27, 28 of you guys with us once again, so appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for joining us. Appreciate the likes. The 3-2 pitch. Little grounder to first. Tapped on first base for the out. They try to get the tag at home, but they get the one out there at first. Another run scores. 7-1. As Escobar grounds out there. Not sure why Lowe didn't just stop immediately when he got that one and throw it home to get the out at the plate to stop the run scoring. I get he only had one more step to go, but that step cost them a run. If I were the Rangers, I would have rather just thrown home and tried to go back to first. You'd still have the bases loaded in that situation, but you would have at least kept a run off of the scoreboard. Kind of the second brain cramp of the day for the Nathaniel Lowe, who allowed that quote-unquote double to Logan O'Hoppe earlier that came around to score. Still should go down as an error in my book. Runners are still at second and third now with Stefanik up. So far this year with runners in scoring position, hitting .385, a double and 4 RBIs, a couple of strikeouts and a walk. See if he's able to come through here for the Angels. Hard hit through the right side, past a diving Nathaniel Lowe. Garcia up with a strong throw home, unable to get it done. Heim has it there at the plate, and it's now a 9-1 ball game as Stefanik comes through, and that's got to do it there for Stratton, as this game is officially sunk for the Rangers. I don't think even with this offense that they're going to be able to climb out of this 8-run deficit. This inning just got away from them. Started with a loud double out into right field that just about was a home run. They were unable to keep those 2 runs off of the board. Stratton allowed 3 base hits, and then they just kind of let the wheels fall off the bus after that. So it's a 9-1 ball game. 1 run, 4 hits, no errors for Texas. 9 runs, 11 hits, no errors for the Angels. Let's flip over to that Mariners and Astros game. 2-0 is the score there. 1 out there in the 4th inning. Kirby at 49 pitches for Seattle. If you're a Rangers fan, you got to be hoping for Seattle to keep it close today. Hope for a Mariners victory to at least keep your division lead. Because even if you lose, if you're the Rangers today and the Astros lose, that magic number goes from 4 down to 3. So pretty much any Astros loss, any Rangers win is a good thing for Rangers right now. I don't think the Mariners have a prayer to be able to win the division at this point. So it's really Texas or Houston that's going to win the division. You're not going to win out if you're Texas for the rest of the way, but you really are hoping to be able to, get some strong momentum. Today, hopefully, is a blip in that the final stretch run here for the Rangers, but it is not looking good against Anaheim or the LA Angels today. Houston, no runs, 2 hits, 1 error. Meanwhile, Seattle, 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors for them. Verlander pitched a gem yesterday for Houston. Kirby so far matching him right now. Looks like we're just coming out of commercial break for the Rangers game. Let's see how the Jake Latz experience goes. Thought he should have been the guy to come in, honestly, rather than Chris Stratton earlier, but we'll see how it goes. Through 46 games this year at AAA Round Rock, he has 63 and 2/3 innings pitched, 4.1 ERA, 87 strikeouts to 29 walks. So we'll see how he performs here. Another lefty out of the bullpen for the Rangers. Rangers have their fair share of them. Nice fastball on the outer half of the plate. 0-1 as that one's fouled off. It'll be Walsh followed by Fletcher, should he reach. Believe this is the Major League debut for Jake Latz. I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe this is. Nice pitch right on the outside corner and does not get the call. I don't know. It's a mystifying zone for the home plate umpire tonight. Rangers are getting some calls. Angels are getting some calls. But it's not consistent, and that's the biggest problem I have with this strike zone for the home plate umpire. Walsh does not go around on that one. It's 2-1 now. Biggest thing for the Rangers that they want to see right now is just throw strikes for Jake Latz. Doesn't matter if you give up contact. You just want to get this inning through. This one's lifted high out into left field. Grossman settles underneath it and makes the catch. And mercifully for the Rangers, the inning finally comes to an end. 6th inning coming up. Rangers hopefully can get back into it, but right now it's all Angels, 9-1 going to the 6th inning. Appreciate you guys joining us today. As I mentioned, we'll have the finale of this series tomorrow for you guys. We'll also have a couple other lives as well. One NFL Live at 6 o'clock. Make sure you join us for that one, updating you on all the latest storylines from around the NFL. 7 o'clock, we'll have our MLB Live, updating you on all the playoff races that are going down, the NL wildcard, how things stand in the American League West, magic numbers, scenarios to clinch, all those types of things. And then we'll get into the fun stuff in that MLB Live at 7 tomorrow. We'll get into some of the playoff scenarios, how the series are going to shake up, who's going to get home field, who's going to be going on the road for 3 games in the wild card round. We'll get into all those things tomorrow, so make sure you set your reminders for those tomorrow. We'll post when we go live on Twitter as well, at UpsideSN, Twitter, X, whatever they're called themselves nowadays. But we'll post there as well, so make sure you like and subscribe. Really does help us out when you do so. Probably stick with this one here till probably the bitter end of this one, even though this game's kind of gotten out of hand. Might check in a little bit more frequently on that Houston Astros and Seattle Mariners score, since a lot of us are kind of paying attention to the postseason races, magic numbers and all that right now. I know a lot of Angels fans out there are like, hey, this is the last time I get to watch my team. What are you doing? Talk about the Angels. Well, the Angels aren't a very good team. They're laying it on the Rangers right now, but Angels aren't exactly playing for October, we'll put it that way. And right now it's all about October baseball. And the Angels had their chance to be in this type of picture. They had the chance to be in this wild card hunt. But their pitching fell off a cliff. Their hitting fell off a cliff. Injuries happen. Shohei Ohtani was carrying this team literally on his back, on his arm, everywhere. And just wasn't able to stay healthy. And he is not going to be able to pitch next season more than likely. So hopefully the Angels can have a nice finish to their season and regroup and have some success with some of their younger guys. I don't see it happening immediately, but that's kind of the outlook now if you're an Angels fan. 0-1 here to Garcia. That one all the way in. Garcia takes that one, now 1-1. More soft stuff away. Off the end of the bat, into the catcher's glove, but that'll count as a strike. 1-2. Nice pitch, low and in, off the plate, able to get the swing and a miss from Adolis Garcia. Mitch Garver is next, 1 for 1 on the day, has a walk and a single. He's probably been the Rangers' hottest bat over the last month and a half. Checking in on that score of that Mariners and Astros game. Looks like Seattle's got a runner on first, nobody out in the bottom of the fourth there. Garver takes ball one inside. 283 average now for Garver. 19 home runs, 50 RBIs, and a 911 OPS. He's going to be a name in demand this offseason. He's going to be a starting catcher somewhere more than likely. Rangers, I think, would have an inside track to try to be able to keep him as that backup catcher / everyday DH for them, but it's going to take probably 15 to 20 million to be able to keep a guy like Garver in their lineup right now. I don't think it'll be a long-term deal. I think best case scenario for Garver is a 3, maybe a 4-year deal, but at this point with his injury history, he's probably going to take the longest-term deal he can get and maybe push for 5 years. I don't think he'll get it, but I think he'll push for it. The 3-0, right in there on the inner half of the plate. 3-1 now. Detmer's up to 79, 80 pitches with this next one. Off the handle of the bat, lifted into shallow center, coming on as Adele, making the jogging catch. And there are 2 away here in the top of the 6th. Welcome in, Oscar. ABC, if you like the Angels. Well, I've never really been against the Angels. Like I said, I enjoyed the Angels teams from way back when. And what I'm talking about is like early 2000s. Garrett Anderson, Mo Vaughn, that era. John Lackey, late 90s of Angels. That's the era of Angels baseball that I really enjoyed, even as a Rangers fan. But you look at where they are now, or where they've been over the last 10 to 15 years, it's been hard to root for them as a guy who's not necessarily a diehard Angels fan. It's hard to find reasons to root for them outside of Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout. There's a couple of crossover players between the Rangers and the Angels, so there was some interest, like in Josh Hamilton when he first went to Texas, see if he could continue his level of performance there. He was not. C.J. Wilson as well, but overall, it's been difficult to watch Angels baseball for a long period of time. This one off the end of the bat for Nathaniel Lowe. High throw, makes the tag, and the third out of the inning. But the Angels have a long way to go to get back to competitive baseball for them. It's going to be a long road. We'll see if this is challenged by the Rangers. Doesn't look like it is, or will it be? Yep, they are challenging it. Might as well. And are they saying it was too late to be able to challenge it? Bochy is coming out of the dugout to at least get an explanation. He did challenge it pretty quickly there. Boch isn't really upset about it, but we'll see what happens here. They are going to commercial break. We'll see if the challenge actually happens or not. But it's an 8-run game going to the bottom of the 6th. It's not looking good for Texas in this one, but all eyes now flip over to that Mariners and Astros game with the Mariners leading 2-0 through 4 innings as they go to the top of the 5th. As far as the last, I talked a little bit about the early 2000 Angels. You talk about Vladimir Guerrero. He was one of the best players in Angels history in my mind. He was a pleasure to watch before he even went to the Angels when he was with the Montreal Expos and played a season for the Texas Rangers at the very end of his career. He was another player I really enjoyed. But you look at the success for where the Angels have been since, say, 2009 when the Rangers started to get really good, is that they've really made big gambles in the free agent market. Pujols, Hamilton, Rendon, Wilson, most recently Tyler Anderson, and all of these big swings they've tried to really build around Mike Trout. I get their investment of money. The thing is that those signings ultimately did not work. Whether they were good or bad at the time, the ultimate result of those is that the Angels didn't have any success with those signings. And here we are right now with a very difficult situation with the Angels going forward. They've sold the rest of their farm system to try to be competitive around Shohei to try to retain him after this season. But if you're Shohei, are you really going to stick around for a team that can't sniff playoff baseball in the entirety of your time there during the prime of you and Mike Trout's careers? Can't put a pitching staff together? Even if they do get those things in free agency and spend gobs of money, what's the future look like? Your farm system's completely gutted. You traded most of your top-end farm system away at the deadline for rentals that you've already let go on the waiver wire, and things just don't look good there. Looks like we're back from commercial break. The challenge did not go through. I guess they're arguing basically from the home plate umpire. They didn't even look over at Bruce Bochy. Hey, we didn't know you wanted to challenge it, so it's too late now, so we can't. It's an 8-run game. Just let it go, Boch. And Boch, I guess, said, okay, it's an 8-run game. We get it. But that's on the umpire to be able to, still follow the rules of baseball, even in an 8-run game. If a runner gets on there in the 6th, the next batter is Jonah Heim. Jonah Heim has since been lifted. Austin Hedges now is catching for Texas. Heim has had a couple of good at-bats earlier today. If he gets a hold of one, it's now a 6-run game with the top of the order coming, and then maybe you get Evan Carter off the bench, and then you get things going. But I get the point for the home plate umpire that, hey, you're losing by 8, but the score should not ever matter to the home plate umpire. But we know it does. We know calls are subjective, and that's part of the reason why robo-umps eventually are going to come in there to make things a little bit more uniform. But that's a situation that should have been handled a little bit better by that home plate umpire. He did not have command of that, nor did the crew chief of this as well. So that's a thing I'm sure Major League Baseball is going to have a word with them about. Not necessarily admonishing them, but just kind of say, hey, teaching moment, all things matter the same no matter what play it is. But in the top of the 5th, Mariners lead 2-0 over the Stros. Fletcher 3-2 here with Latz. Works the walk. It's the one thing for Latz. If he wants to be successful at the major league level, he's got to cut down those walks. Some of those pitches were just not competitive. And they really need to get some length here out of Latz. You'd like to see him go at least through the 6th, maybe to the 7th. Turn it over to Brock Burke for the 8th. Who is going to miss out on the wild cards? Well, you look at the wild card contention right now on the American League side, there's really only 4 teams really competing for those spots right now. The Rays have already locked up one of those. Texas or Houston will get one of those other spots. And then you look at Toronto and Seattle. I believe Toronto's probably going to get one of those spots. I think Seattle, their only real hope to get it is to leapfrog Houston with a couple of victories and then hope that they kind of take the Rangers to the woodshed in the final week of the season and just kind of get into that final wild card spot. But I think Texas very likely wins the AL West. Right now their magic number is 4. Very likely to go down to 3 if the scores hold right now. If the Astros lose tonight, Rangers could pull even closer with a victory tomorrow over the LA Angels. That would move them down to 2 if Mariners win tomorrow as well. Then you're looking at Houston being on the outside of the wild card picture, looking in at end of play tomorrow, and could be a very interesting final few games of the season for the 3 teams at the top of the AL West. Sadly, the Angels are not one of those teams. So 3-1, that one finds the corner for Latz there. 3-2 now. Again, this home plate umpire's had a mystifying strike zone. Some strikes count, some strikes don't. This one's lifted high into the air once again, deep right field, almost the exact same spot. Jankowski is actually in the game now in right for Garcia, getting him some playing time now. See what other defensive changes we see. Looks like Josh Smith is coming into the game for Corey Seager. Grossman has left the game. It is now Ezekiel Duran out there in left. And as we mentioned, Jankowski is now in right. Hedges is now catching. I don't know about that one. Looked like he kind of went around, but Latz has been a little bit wild here so far. But who's going to miss out on the wild card? If I had to guess right now, I would say one of Houston or Seattle. Ground ball double play here for Latz to get out of the inning. Nice work there. Latz at 18 pitches probably will get through through the seventh now. Maybe get into the eighth as well. So nice work there by Jake Latz. Was a little bit wild with his location, but able to get the job done. If you're looking on the screen right here, just over here at the pitchers for Texas, 4 innings for Cody Bradford. He left with a 4-1 ball game at that time. Chris Stratton came on and gave up a couple of the runners that were already inherited for him, and then proceeded to give up 3 more in that 5-run 5th inning for Anaheim. That really kind of stretched this thing into no man's land for the Rangers. Jake Latz has come on and been really effective so far. Inning in a third, 1 walk. Has been a little bit wild, but he's been effective with it so far. Yet to record his first strikeout. But as far as the American League wild card race, I think it's really going to come down to Houston, Seattle for that final wild card spot. I think all Rangers fans are really hoping Seattle finally gets there, but we shall see. On the National League side, let me update this just to see if there's any other finals that have gone. On the National League side, of course, you have Atlanta, LA, and Milwaukee all locked in, 1, 2, 3 as the division winners. Philadelphia's locked in as that first wild card. They will probably host the Cubs or Diamondbacks more than likely. I still think the Miami Marlins are a pretty tough team to get out right now. They're 6-4 in their last 10. Cubs are 4-6. They're struggling a little bit. You saw the Diamondbacks laid one on the White Sox tonight. They have a 1-game lead now over the Cubs for that second wild card spot. I think Arizona's probably going to hold on to it at this point. With as few games that are left in the season and who their competition is, it's tough to see them giving it up. Meanwhile, the Cubs are facing Atlanta in Atlanta, and it's tough to see them overcoming them, even with Atlanta kind of stepping off the gas over the final couple weeks here as they try to coast injury-free the rest of the way. But Miami's still hard charging. They're facing the Mets. Again, it all comes down to how schedules break for you. And I think Miami could leapfrog the Chicago Cubs at this point. 2 days ago, I would have told you the Chicago Cubs would have been able to hold on to it, but we've seen Arizona be able to pick things up. We've seen the Chicago Cubs really not take advantage of their opportunity here. And even though they've been managed really well so far this year in what was supposed to be kind of a rebuild, not necessarily rebuild, but a retooling year for the Cubs, they've performed really well. Dansby Swanson's been a nice addition for them, but if you're asking me who gets into the wild card spot, I would probably say Arizona and Miami. Another very high pitch by Detmers there. As I mentioned, we're going to be having a couple of videos come out for you guys tomorrow. Make sure you keep your eyes out for those. Talk a little bit about the LA Chargers tomorrow and their head coach, Brandon Staley, who did something so egregious in the game versus the Minnesota Vikings. Even in a victory, I still think it was worthy of an immediate firing. And we'll get into some of that. We'll have a video coming out about that tomorrow as well. We'll talk a little bit about Russell Wilson and how that experiment should absolutely be over there in Denver. They should move on. Even with the money they've committed there, they have $10 million committed to Jared Stidham as the backup there as well. So we shall see how things go. Tavares flares this one out into right for the second out here in the 7th inning. Rangers just kind of coasting. Max Scherzer still keeping things up in the dugout for them. Or for the Rangers right now. Gotta love how Max Scherzer's still in the dugout, even though he's not able to pitch right now. Jacob deGrom has been involved with this Rangers team. Home games he is there. He's also in the bullpen working with other pitchers, kind of as an additional pitching coach for the Rangers. Everybody talked this offseason how Jacob deGrom is not a leader. He doesn't try to impart his wisdom among the younger players. But you saw in the interviews, when Jacob deGrom went down due to injury, it was visibly all over him. All over his face, tears in his eyes that he wasn't able to perform in the club. And I get it. He's not healthy. It's partly on him, partly, nothing you can really do about the injuries yourself, but you got to be able to maintain better condition of your body and avoid those types of injuries. And deGrom has always been a guy that needs to have everything right for him to be able to pitch to his best ability. Max Scherzer's been a guy that takes the ball every fifth day no matter what. Over the last couple of years, though, we've started to see some injury issues come up with him. Now we see the triceps injury. But two of the best starting pitchers over the last decade. Rangers could have both of them in their playoff rotation next year. But this year they're kind of hoping to get at least to have Max Scherzer back, hopefully by the World Series, maybe a little bit earlier. That's kind of best case scenario for the Rangers right now, even though they're losing 9-1 here. Holding out hope for that Mariners team to hold off the Astros today. Checking on that scoreboard once again, looks like the Mariners still lead it 2-0 in the bottom of the fifth now. Looking at the box score just to see where Kirby's at. 5 innings, he's thrown 69 pitches. So maybe get another inning or two out of Kirby. And then turn it over to the bullpen if you're a Mariners fan. Javier, the starter for Houston, 73 pitches through 4 innings plus. Only giving up a couple of hits. Houston's committed a couple errors, however. 3-2 pitch misses high there to Simeon. He'll take a 2-out walk. And it'll be Josh Smith next. Surprising that they did not take out Marcus Simeon as well. I thought they could have taken out Simeon instead of Grossman. Left Grossman out there and put... Ooh, that one almost hit Smith, who has been hit quite a few times this year. Has a good on-base, high walk rate. Struggles with making contact, though, as that one misses. Now 2-0. Detmer's up to 99 pitches. This will likely be his final inning, as the Angels do have the bullpen going. Just starting to get loose is Marte. The 2-0 here to Smith. Little tapper out to second. On to first. And that'll end the top half of the 7th inning. Rangers behind 9-1. Pretty much all eyes now of Rangers fans have flipped over to this Mariners and Houston game. Mariners leading 2-0 at home in the bottom of the 5th inning. Should the Mariners win, Rangers' magic number shrinks down to 3, even with a loss. So all they would need to do is either win 3 games or have Houston lose 3 games. Any combination of 3 would get it done. Appreciate you guys joining us. As I mentioned, we'll have those lives out for you guys tomorrow. But let us know in the comment section what game you guys want us to cover on Sunday. Got a couple of you guys voting for the Buffalo and Miami game. I know the the Cowboys have a good matchup at home against the Patriots. Hopefully they can bounce back there if you're a Cowboys fan. But Patriots are tough defensively. We'll see if Mac Jones can elevate his play. But I think there were some real questions, once again, really brought to the forefront by that loss in Arizona about Dak Prescott. I posted a video earlier today about how they needed to do some soul searching about their quarterback position. Is it good enough to be able to get the job done in the postseason, in the playoffs? And I'm just not sold that it's able to be done. So we shall see if they stick with Dak Prescott beyond the season. But right now, he's the best they got to go with. Rojas gets on here for the Mariners, and it'll go over to the top of the lineup with J.P. Crawford. Julio Rodriguez is on deck for the Mariners. Probably take it through the 8th inning for Texas, and we'll probably call it there. Save my voice anyway for some of the videos tomorrow. If you guys have a team or something you want me to cover, please feel free to comment that as well on this video or any other videos that you guys watch. Jake Latz out for another inning of work. Pitched a scoreless inning in the 3rd so far for Texas. A lot of in-game breakaways during the Rangers game to that Mariners and Astros game, as you might expect with this one being not so very competitive. First pitch by Latz to Brandon Drury, probably their player of the game, 2 for 3 with a 3-run home run. That one couldn't keep his bat back, and it was now 0-2. Drury has 3 RBIs with that 3-run home run, of course. The 0-2 pitch. Fastball right down the middle, hammered over shortstop. And is it Evan Carter now in left? Yep, Evan Carter has come into the game for the Rangers. He takes over for Semien. So now they do take out Marcus Semien. I thought they might have kept Evan Carter on the bench. That's a tough spot. Brett Phillips comes on as a pinch runner for Brandon Drury. Nice, I'm guessing off-speed pitch there on the outside corner. 2-0 hop. One and one now. Duran has taken over there at second base. They finally convinced Marcus Semien to at least take a seat for an inning or two. Breaking news for the Rangers. This is something that does not happen every day, even in blowouts or in blowouts when they're winning or blowouts when they're losing. Marcus Semien usually plays all 9 innings, but not today. They've convinced him to get off his feet for an inning and a half. Strike 2 right on the outside corner. Check on that Mariners game one more time for you guys. Runner on second now, 2 outs for Julio Rodriguez. Nice strikeout there for Jake Latz. Gets O'Hop to go around, his first strikeout of the day. Very nice work there by Jake Latz. He's pitched very well out of the bullpen today. Imagine he'll get quite a few appearances against the Mariners team in the next series. Probably going to get the day off tomorrow after how many pitches he had to throw today. But I imagine they're going to try to use Latz as kind of a middle reliever against Seattle. Save their late inning bullpen guys for the postseason. This one lifted down the first base line. Jankowski over, off his glove, and he goes into the stands. Tried to make a spectacular play. Just off his glove and couldn't quite come up with it. That was a heck of an effort there by Jankowski. Would love to have seen him catch it. He jumped in fair territory. If he had taken another stride over to the wall and then jumped, he probably comes down with the catch, but it just literally, I think he was just so high in the air from how high he had to bound up there. That's a great effort, though. Now 1-2. Jankowski looks a little tender out there. He's trying to make the most of his playing time. He hasn't played in like a week since the call-up of Evan Carter. Swung on and missed. Another strikeout there for Jake Latz. Big strikeout pitcher in the minor leagues, but we haven't really seen it at the major league level. We get the strikeout there. Julio Rodriguez gets the walk in that Seattle game. But after this half inning, we'll probably call it for our broadcast tonight. Again, please feel free to send us a comment. We'll post a couple videos tomorrow for you guys. And again, 3 lives for you guys tomorrow. Our NFL Live will start at 6 p.m. Do our MLB Live at 7. And then our baseball game, the finale of this series, Angels and Rangers, tomorrow at 8:38. So make sure you join us for that one. 2-0 the count here to Escobar, 0 for 3 on the day. Cal Raleigh up there, a lot of power against Javier. See how he performs. Does have a walk in the game. That one misses outside there to Escobar. 3-0. Lats to Escobar in that Rangers-Angels game. Watching both for you guys. The 3-0 misses high. Oh, and another confusifying call by the home plate umpire. Looks like the Astros are going to the bullpen. Rafael Montero replaces Javier with 2 away in that 5th inning. That one misses outside, and now it's ball 4. Imagine we see Mike Maddox here just to have a chat with Lats, just to kind of see how things are going. Lats is looking a little tired, maybe just to get him just a breather here. Would like to see Lats get through this one and then have Burke come out and finish the 8th inning. It is an 8-run game, so you could, I believe, bring in Austin Hedges to pitch, but we'll see. Stefanik takes strike 1. Had a 2-run single back in that 5th inning that really put a capper on this one earlier in the game. 1-1 now as that one misses low and in. Appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Had a lot of fun with you guys yesterday watching a competitive baseball game. Today, not quite so competitive. Angels in front. This one just foul down the third base line, and I mean just. Probably would have been at least a run-scoring double for Stefanik. The 1-2 misses high, 2-2. The set by Lats. And the pitch. Tapped foul. We'll see pitch 42 here in just a moment from Jake. I think it's safe to say he's probably not pitching tomorrow. He may not even pitch in the first game of that Seattle series based on how many pitches he's had to throw tonight. If they really want to see if he can stretch it out through the 8th inning, they can hold on to Burke, but I think Burke probably gets the call in the 8th. I think he went around on that one, and the first base umpire does not agree. Yikes. 3-2 now the count. Tough call there for Rangers. But it's an 8-run game at this point. Cal Raleigh up 2-0 against Montero, who came in out of that bullpen. Runners on first and second. Mariners looking to bust the game open. Tapper off the fist. Smith over to first. Gets the tag. Throw is a little offline. And able to make the play is Nathaniel Lowe. And that's going to pretty much do it for us watching this Rangers game. We'll watch through the end of this half inning for the Mariners here as Cal Raleigh is up 3-0 now. Teoscar Hernandez is on deck for those Mariners. Oh, more runs are going to score, it looks like. What did Cal Raleigh do? Guessing at least a base hit, maybe a double. Well, if it'll update, it'd be nice. Rangers losing 9-1 as they go to the top of the 8th inning there. Remember, their magic number is 4. Any combination of those 4, Rangers wins or Astros losses, would work for them. A 2-run scoring triple or double, and then advancing on the throw, it looks like, for Cal Raleigh. 4-0. Good news for Rangers fans. Mariners showing a little bit of life here. Mariners could move to within a half game of that final wild card spot behind Houston and could leapfrog them if they win both today and tomorrow. And then it would all come down to that final series against Texas for Seattle. If they're able to win, say, 3 of those 4, they likely would get that final wild card spot over Houston. But we shall see. Seeing the replay on Bally Sports right now, the throw went into third and got away and rolled out of play. So that's what ended up happening and allowed another run to score and allowed Raleigh to get to third on that play. So that's how we got to 4-0 there. Appreciate you guys joining us tonight. We'll be live for you guys. Oh, looks like we got another run scoring here in just a moment. Let's see what this is for Teoscar Hernandez. More good news for the Rangers on a difficult night out there in L.A. Ezekiel Duran pops this one down the right field line. Caught. But Hernandez gets a base hit and scores Cal Raleigh. It's now 5-0 Mariners. Good news for Texas as they lose, or they're looking like they're going to lose here 9-1 versus the LA Angels. Appreciate you guys joining us. We're going to be live for you guys again tomorrow night, so make sure you guys join us for that one, for the finale of that Rangers and Angels series. And we'll see you guys then. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great evening.